Alright, fellow survivors, this is Programmer Z, leading you through the treacherous world of the walking code. This is the lab portion for Lesson 15, which is about arrays, and in the lecture portion we also introduced you to the string data type. It was a very basic introduction. We haven't made up our mind whether we want to, date strings or not, but it was an introduction nonetheless. What I did here was, at the first top part of my program, I put in a nice little multi-line comment. If you don't recall these, it's just a /*, whatever the comment is, and then to tell the compiler that it's no longer a multi-line comment, it's */. Alright, and everything's green, so we know green means comment in Visual Studio. This is one of the really cool things about Visual Studio. It color codes things. We didn't have this back when I first started. You had to do everything in Notepad and compile it and get all your errors and go into Notepad and look through just black and white code. It was just nasty. So, if you recall from our lecture portion of this lesson, we are using the string data type in this lesson. And to use the string data type, we have to include the string header file. And this is how you do it right here. Pound include string. And the angle brackets there. Not angle brackets. I guess they are angle brackets. I call it less than greater than signs. And I have a multi-line, not a multi-line, but a single line comment after this. It says, needed this because we are using strings. Okay, do not forget this header file. If you forget this header file, you will get a compiler error that you then have to track down. Alright, I know one student that spent all day trying to track down errors, contacted me on Facebook, claimed it wasn't working, this, that, and the other. I looked through his code, first thing I hit, bam, you're using strings without the string header file, and that fixed all of these problems. Okay, we got using namespace std, which is really kind of cool, semicolon after that, and then we get into our main function. All I did here in Visual Studio was I just collapsed my main function, because I wanted you guys to concentrate on this portion of code first, and every time you start a new function, we've just used one function up till now, or since the beginning of this course, and that is the main function. And when we do get into modularizing our programs, we're going to see that Visual Studio really gives us neat tools on how to do that as well. So what I can do is I can collapse this portion, expand this portion, and there's my main function, my open curly brace here. I created an array of strings. This array is named inventory. Okay, it has 10 elements in it. Alright, let's make a comment out here about that. Whack, whack, here we go. String array that holds strings, which technically isn't true, but that's alright. We're not talking about object-oriented stuff yet, so this is good for us for now. This array is named inventory and has 10 elements. Alright, pretty cool stuff. And you notice that the number of elements that this array has is in angle brackets, not curly brackets, not parentheses, but square brackets. Alright, so let's just make sure we have that understood. Alright, if you use curly brackets, it'll fail. If you use parentheses, it won't compile. Make sure you're using square brackets. Okay? Now, what I've done here is I've just loaded up my inventory. I used the name of the array, the subscript, which, remember, arrays start at the index of an array starts at 0. Alright, so this is pack inventory 1, meaning my second element in the array, but the subscript is 1. I have a canteen. Subscripts 2, 3, and 4. I have a clip of 9mm ammo, probably from my pistol, but I have 3 individual clips. or magazines of ammo. Subscript 5. I actually have a 9mm pistol. What do you know? I have pistol and ammo to go with it. Well, that's kind of cool. If I wanted to break this down further, I could put the clips for a 9mm pistol and then the individual number of rounds that I have. That'd be fine too. I have a shotgun. In my index 7 spot, I have a knife. In my index 8 spot, I have a grenade. And inventory 9 spot, I have what everybody else needs, and that is the plasma rifle in the 40-watt range. Alright, anybody want to leave me a neat comment on this one? Feel free to do so. Alright, so we can see that this array has 10 elements. The subscript starts at 0 and goes to 9. But there are 10 elements here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright? And then what I do is I simply output what do I have in my inventory. And 2 new lines. And then here we're using a for loop. Remember we talked about for loops in the lecture portion of this lesson. Our for loop has our initialization of a variable I. We're going to set that equal to 0. We are going to perform this loop while I is less than 10. And every time this loop body runs, I is going to get incremented by 1. So after this loop body runs, it's going to increment I. It's going to go back up to the top, and we can put a breakpoint in and see this. And it's going to increment I by 1, so I is going to go from 0 to 1. It's going to test the value of I to see if it should run the loop body again. If this tests true, it's going to run that loop body. It's going to increment I by 1 and start the process all over again. Alright? And then I have my stuff, which has become, rule of thumb by now. System pause, return 0, close bracket for my main function, that type of thing. Alright? So this is all pretty cool stuff. I hope you guys see kind of what's going on here. What I'm going to do is, since the real meat of this is at the for loop, I'm going to stick a breakpoint in there. Alright? And I know I use breakpoints to step through my code a lot in the labs, instead of just running my program and not showing you guys what goes on behind the curtain. But, it is important to see what goes on behind the curtain, and to learn to step through your code. Alright? I feel like when I do this stuff, I am encouraging you guys, when you have a problem, to diagnose or troubleshoot your own code. Alright? Besides immediately running to somebody for help. Alright? Let's debug this guy here. Go. And it takes a second or two to compile. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And if I go to my command window, it says, what do I have in my inventory? Right? Now, I'm going to see what value does I have here. Oh, I doesn't have a value right now because this code has not been run. Now I has a value of 0. Alright. And inventory I, meaning the subscript, is the value I. Oh, what do you know? We can use variables for subscripts. That's kind of cool, right? That's kind of neat. Okay, look at the memory address here as well, 0035F9AC. If you're running this program on your computer, if you typed in the code and you're running this on your computer, you're going to get a different memory address. Do not let that throw you one darn bit. Alright, so let me step over this. There we go. And it says pack. Alright, so my backpack. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to step over that. Go. And I'm going to step into that. Here we go. I is now equal to 1. Okay, this is pretty cool. Notice how inventory has the same memory address and the string pack. Well, we don't want the string pack because we know from further up in our code that inventory subscript 1, or inventory index 1, however you want to say it, is a canteen. Well, it has that down here. I'll explain what that is in a minute. I'm going to step over that because I don't want to get into the C code here. Canteen. Okay. And 2, clip of 9mm ammo. Oh, I didn't want to step into that. Sorry, folks. Go. I didn't want to step into that. Thank you very much. Step out. There we go. Step over. There we go. And notice how every time you go through the loop, the I changes, the inventory spot changes, right? I got 3 clips of 9mm ammo, so you're going to see the same thing 3 times. But this memory address stays the same. Notice that. How cool is that? If we click this little guy down here, text visualizer, now I don't want that. There we go. That's cool. We can click on a little magnifying glass. It gives us a text visualizer. That's fine. Anyway, so I want to step into that. Step into that. I want to step over the C out statement because it gives me all kinds of crazy crap. I want to step into that. Step into that. Step over that. There we go. And we can see that every time the loop runs, I goes up by 1. And then I use inventory subscript I, meaning whatever the value of I is, that's the element in my array that's going to be displayed to the screen. Alright, so right now it's index 5. This is element 6, because remember, arrays start at 0. And I'm going to step over that. Actually, I'm going to step into that, sorry. Step in, step over. Okay. And let me get to the last one here real quick. I didn't want to do that. That's easy enough to fix. Easy enough to fix. Step out of it. Here we go. Step over it. Ah, my grenade. That's awesome. I love grenades. They're cool, and they splatter zombies real easy too. Step into that. Okay, so I is equal to 9. Alright, and my inventory spot is going to be plasma rifle in the 40-watt range. I'm going to explain this memory address. Remember how we said arrays have to be a contiguous space of memory? So if you have an array of 2 elements or an array of 2,000 elements, it has to be contiguous memory or continuous memory. Okay? Now, basically what happens here is this inventory, this memory address, points to that list. We haven't gotten the pointers yet. Don't worry, pointers are a source of hell for programmers when they first start, but we'll get there too. If I expand this, there we go. It tells me size 4, capacity 15. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. PACK. So it's just pointing to the different spots in the string. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Alright? But I just want you to realize that an array starts at a certain point, and then it's continuous throughout there. So, like, inventory 0 is there, inventory 1 is the next memory address, inventory 2 is the memory address under that, so on and so forth, until we reach the end of our array. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go. I'm going to step over that. I'm going to step into that. Alright, so now I is equal to 9. Okay, do I have plus 41? There we go. Do while I is less than 10. Well, when this line executes, it's going to increment I. So I is going to become 10. 10 is not less than 10. 10 is equal to 10. So it will not run this loop body. So if there we go. It jumps out of the loop. It doesn't even run the loop body. It just goes to the next statement after the loop, which is my system pause, and then my return 0. Alright. I think I clicked something I was supposed to click. Whatever. Okay. Yep. Press any key to continue. There we go. And then I'm going to return 0. And then my program is going to cease execution. Alright. Pretty cool stuff. Again, this is important stuff to get down. I'm going to stop out of that. Go. Tools. Debug. Here we go. Stop debugging. go. I'm going to take that breakpoint out for now. Let me show you what happens if I make an error. All right, this is an error most programmers make when they first start dealing with arrays. If I say, well, because I say, hey, my array has 10 elements in it, so I want I to be less than or equal to 10. All right, what's going to happen here? Let's see. Does it even compile or not? Oh yeah, it does. Boom, there we go. Unhandled exception at blah 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 in zombies blah 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 blah. Access violation, reading location, this, that, and the other. Right? Hey, it still displayed my inventory. Well, what happened is it tried to run this loop body. Let me break out of my program execution here. Let me stop debugging. There we go. So what happened is on the 10th time, when I was equal to 10, it tried to display inventory subscript I, or subscript 10, excuse me. There is no inventory subscript 10. So basically what you've gotten is what's called an out of bounds error. It cannot access that part of memory as far as inventory array goes. Alright, as far as the inventory array goes, there is no inventory subscript 10. So you get that error. That's called a runtime error. It passed compilation, meaning it compiled okay. When it went to run, it threw an error, a runtime error. Alright? So that's it for this simple example of arrays and for loops, and we're going to get more into strings and everything like that throughout this course. I don't want anybody to panic. I don't want to shove a whole bunch of stuff into one lab to where you're so confused and overwhelmed and stuff. Bite-sized chunks. Right? Programming is like a really good steak. You cut it into bite-sized chunks, you enjoy it more. Whereas if you try to shove the whole steak down your neck, you're going to have trouble. Okay? You don't want to do that. Watch this video again if you're having trouble. If you absolutely do not get something, just contact me through YouTube. Alright? Thank you for watching my videos. Really appreciate it. Have a great time.